All right, let's get going. Do our Q talk here, talking about all things quarterback. Appreciate Josh Dobbs of the Jacksonville Jaguars, formerly of Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you say formerly or you just say alumni of the University of Tennessee? How do you do it?
Ooh, I guess Tennessee alum, VFL, Josh Dobbs. That's how it goes.
That's VFL, Josh Dobbs. Um, so we're gonna just talk about some things that you're doing quarterback wise, so that you can stay sharp during this time. So I think that it's important for all the young quarterbacks, quarterback coaches, and parents to know like what someone in the NFL is doing, so
Right.
that they're prepared when they get off of quarantine. So like, what is your workout schedule? I know you might have a little bit extra, access to things as an NFL quarterback. But what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
You can stay sharp and ready when the season comes.
I think the biggest thing is having a plan, especially right now where times are different. They're trying to throw you off your plan. You still have to wake up and say, okay, this is my plan for the day. So for me, days are still mapped out. So, wake up, eat breakfast, and now I'm on the Peloton for a 30-minute bike ride. Then I'm into an at-home workout. So I have enough dumbbells and equipment to get in the work I need. So I get a workout in at home, and then I'm to the field or to the indoor to go throw, whether it's with Jags receivers that are in the area or it's usually with Jags receivers in the area, or go work on like spots and footwork drills. So I'm lifting Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, trying to Peloton 5 days a week, and then throw 5 days a week as well as we get back into it. So that's kind of like my plan, even with the quarantine, to still try to get my work in.
And what are you doing like sprint conditioning wise? Like, do you do anything for speed,
Yeah,
agility?
that's worked it incorporated in my lift, where it's half where you're doing weight room training, bulk exercises. The other half is explosiveness, speed and agility. The Peloton's great for conditioning because it kind of starts the day out with, a quick hit where you're getting that intense workout, and you're really working your legs. I think it's also crucial, like you hit the Peloton, then you go throw after the lift where you're in a fatigue state. So you're able to work, times when you're tired. And then I'm getting conditioning in, like true football conditioning after I throw. I'll do some similar to what you and Deshaun posted, where I'll start on one end of the field. I'll throw a go. I'll sprint 40. Go on the other end, throw another go, sprint 40. I'll do 4 sets of that. So still working to get the conditioning in, but trying to, manufacture not just typical, like, let me go run 5 miles. Let me get actual football conditioning. So whenever OTAs occur and then camp occurs, you're able to make the transition quickly.
So quarterbacks who don't know what he's talking about, when we talk about the conditioning that me and Deshaun were doing, and the same thing that Josh is doing now, that consists of about 10 throws. You want to make a throw, do your drop, quarterback movement, make a throw, sprint down the field, somewhere between 25 and 40 yards, another drop, another throw coming back the opposite direction, sprint. You're going to do that 10 times, do that 3 to 4 rounds 10 times, take about a 2-minute break in between each set. It's going to allow you to get a really good workout in, really good cardio that's quarterback related. And it's also going to allow you to make some really good throws off some movement. So it's very, very helpful. But what we wanted to bring Josh in to talk about as well is, so we went through that. And then another thing that I think is really important is that quarterbacks have a plan throughout the week, talking about like their game week preparation.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have Josh go through what he's doing game weeks when he's there in the season. And you can adjust it by the days for your season, what you're going to be doing. But this is how you should – this is one way that an NFL quarterback studies for their upcoming opponent. And he did this and it allowed him to be so successful in college, high school, XYZ.
So for me, play on Sunday. The next day is kind of a general recap of what happened on Sunday. So you're watching really the game and seeing how you played, how you can improve, or as a team, hey, were the areas we could attack this team better? Were the areas we attacked them well? Because in NFL, defensive coordinators and schemes recycle so much. So you want to take notes of how you played and how you performed against a certain scheme. So you're able to use those notes for the next one. So you're taking notes on your performance. You might throw on a couple game tapes of your next opponent. But again, you're coming off a game, so you kind of want to take a day to kind of decompress. Tuesday in the league is off day. So that's the day you're kind of really, for me, I'm just watching game tape. I'm cycling through games, watching the future opponent, probably watch maybe their last 2 to 3 games, and then try to find a scheme that's exactly or identical, close to identical to the scheme that we run, and watch that game tape and take notes on it. So I get a feel for their defensive coordinator, their base calls, their base tendencies, but also start getting a feel for some of their situational tendencies. Because when you go to Wednesday practice, you're working open downs, first and second down. So Wednesday, you get to the complex. Wednesday's a long day. You get there early. You're probably in there at 6 or 7, and you're watching their first and second down cut-ups. Mixed downs, what they're running on base downs, base situations, just first down, start of a drive, first down midfield, what's their tendencies as a defense. Just getting a feel for that. Wednesday night, you'll throw on some third down cut-ups because Thursday practice is third down day. So Wednesday night, you'll throw on the third down cut-up, watch it, get a feel for it. Thursday morning, you'll wake up. Thursday's another long day. And in the morning, you'll go through their third down cut-up. And for me, I kind of like to, just like my engineer background, I kind of like to chart the tendencies. So I break the third downs down from 3rd and 2 to 4, 3rd and 4 to 6, 3rd and 7 to 10, and then 3rd and long. And I chart really I chart the play and what coverage they play. Of course, there's different variations of offenses running a 3-by-1 or 2-by-2. And most teams are really in a 3-by-1 or empty for third down. So you're kind of able to really see their tendencies. Like 3rd and 2 to 4, they're a big man team. Or surprisingly, 3rd and 2 to 4, they're a zone team. However, 3rd and 4 to 6, they're a huge man team. But 3rd and 7 to 10, you're getting pressure. So those, because they're such small increments, you're able to truly break down and see their tendencies, and that really helps. So you watch that Thursday morning, go into practice, you do the practice third down drill. And then Thursday evening, you throw on the red zone cut up, kind of check it out, feel their tendencies. And then Friday morning, that's when you segment it. So I start kind of the outer red fringe, anywhere you feel like you can attack the end zone. It could be 40, 45, anywhere in that range. Kind of feel like, hey, we're starting to get in a field goal range. What is the defensive coordinator starting to call? And then from there, it goes from like 20 plus, 15 plus, 10 plus, 5 plus. And not that you're charting each play to see what they run. You're really trying to figure out where does the tendencies change. A lot of defensive coordinators kind of have a yard line in the red zone that their calls change. Some guys is the 12, some guys is the 15, some guys is the 10, some guys is the 7. Wherever that may be, it kind of is where they go from playing just open field general defense, which you've spent all week getting a feel for, to, hey, this is our red zone defense. We're bringing cover 0 when it's 3rd and 4, cover 0 we feel like you can get a field goal, or we're not a cover 0 team till it's 4th down and we want to pressure you. So every guy has their different feel, but by breaking it down in those increments, you're really able to get a feel for, hey, this is the yard line. At the 12, this is when I start seeing red zone coverages. So I check those out on Friday. Friday evening is kind of like you kind of go over the game plan. You've watched everything. You have a really good feel for what they're doing. So you kind of want to decompress at that point. You feel like you could play the game at that point. Saturday is just a general overview of reviewing your notes, going back to first and second down, maybe watching a game just to get a feel. As you've been so situational throughout the week, you still want to get a general feel, hey, this is what type of football they play, and this is how I'm going to attack it after the plan is made. And then by Sunday, if you're still watching film, you're kind of behind the 8 ball, you know? So by Sunday, you're just going out and you're going to play ball.
Perfect. I think that's a good baseline because high school, college guys, they're not going to have as much time as you throughout the week. Coaches, guys can figure out some time, but that general structure, we're going to open up with the base downs, seeing what they do on defense, and we start working on the third down, then red zone. But young guys really need to create a plan, and I think college guys need to do a better job of that.
Yeah.
So I see college guys on here because I remember how tough it was on you when you were in college trying to find the time.
Start the plan. Right. I think the foundation is crucial. Once you create the foundation, it extremely helps because you have so many notes backlog that by halfway through the season, you'll say, I'm playing this defensive coordinator. He comes from this scheme. So before you even turn on a game tape on Tuesday when you're just watching general games, you already know what they're going to run. And college is the same. A lot of coaches come from similar schemes from other coaches that you might play, cross paths, or even that you have coaches in the building that have worked with them. So you're able to figure out that tree beforehand. You'll say, oh, this is a man team. I know I'm getting man on all situational downs. They might throw in some cover 3 to switch it up, but boom, I know what I'm getting. Or I'm playing a simplistic defense, as Coach T and Pittsburgh used to call it, whereas team that they just, hey, yo, we play cover 3, and we play cover 3 really well, and you're going to have to beat us. You're going to have to take balls in the flat, take the hitch, take the free access throws, and just kind of nickel and dime us down the field. Or I'm playing an exotic defense like the Ravens, where I know I'm going to get different fronts, different pressures. So I already know going into the week, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and segment this game by fronts, because the front's probably going to tell me what coverage they're bringing or if they're bringing pressure. So by knowing the defensive coordinator and the scheme they kind of derive from, it really helps expedite the learning process throughout the week, and you're able to kind of hopefully get a leg up on the competition, on your preparation.
Perfect. Now we're going to hop into some film. I'm going to show these guys some of the things that you did really, really well, both in college and some of your snaps in the NFL, and then we're going to talk about a few of the things in the NFL protection-wise that you want to do, or ways that you can help yourself out in terms of a quarterback protection-wise and understanding what guys are doing. So we'll hop right into this. So this is the opportunity for these guys to see this play versus Florida when you're at Tennessee. This is a big game. If you want to walk us through what's going on and what you're about as
so you start at the top of the play.
Yep, right here.
Look at the formation. It looks like a 2-back formation. But for us, it goes back to knowing who you're playing. Florida's a big man-to-man team. They like to say, hey, yo, we recruit the best DBs in the country. We recruit them to play man. So on situational downs, we're going to play man-to-man coverage. So it's 3rd and 10. It's fourth quarter. I think we're a possession at this time of the game. It's a big down. So for us, we knew they were playing man, and we wanted to create leverage in man coverage. There's like several ways you can create leverage in man coverage, but the main ways, you bunch your formation. So as you can see with tight splits by the 2 receivers who are out, you take the receiver that you usually want to get the ball, you put them off the ball, and you motion guys. Those are the 3 ways you kind of create space for the guy you want to get the ball. So we put Josh Malone in the backfield, actually, and we motioned him into the bunch. So we motioned him. So as you can see, he has plenty of free access. He has the ideal leverage. This concept we're running, we called it danger, but it's the general West Coast F short post concept. Number 1 kind of has whatever, usually a hitch or a go.
And number 2, number 1, the boundary. You're talking about number 1 here, right?
No, number 1 to the field. Sorry.
To the field. Okay.
Number 1 to the field as a hitch or go. I think on this we put him on like a return, just to a recovery throw. Number 2 has the F short post, so it's like a 5-step slant. Number 3 has a grab shallow, so he's trying to grab any plugger or any middle zone defender or the man above him and kind of pry open that window to the number 2 receiver. Backside, you have an individual cut for if you just want to take it. So we put him on a curl. As you can see, we motion Malone, start like right when Malone stopped motioning. We motion Malone into this bunch. So he has so much free access on number 7, their nickel. The nickel's already outside leverage, so he already lost. Malone's running a spray inside breaking route. So we're able to really pry open that one down that we know we're probably going to get man coverage. So for me as a quarterback,
Josh, let me say some of these guys because I talked about it the first week. We're talking about free. He said he has a free access to individual. There's X receivers on what he's like to call an individual. So if he would have gotten off coverage here, they don't have that overhang, right? That guy's in the box. He could have just taken this route and not gone through progression. So we call that a progression with an option. That would be your option. Free access, no overhang. You want to just take free completions. All right, keep going.
Right. So for me as a quarterback, I like to start with protection. So really as I look back on this play, I kind of messed up. Protection, we're in a 6-man slide pro to the field. So basically the mic is Anzalone, the guy standing over the tight end, number 3 receiver. Yeah, him. So we're sliding 4-down slide to him. The back has scanned backside 1 to any other threat. So really, we have an overload backside. The safety's down, and we have the wheel overhang outside the box. So as I look back, and I think how I can get better, I could protect myself. You'll see it as the play goes on. I could have Xeroxed, that's what we called it in college, Xeroxed the protection, or we would have slid, because as you can see, I'm hot. That safety's not getting picked up. So I'm really hot. I'm just making the throw under pressure. I ended up getting a grow, catch and run ball, and we're able to get a touchdown out of it. And it was a big play. It kind of won us the game. But as I go back, if I Xerox this, it makes it an easy throw. So I Xerox it, I slide it to the boundary. I pick up my 2 threats over there where the line will slide to the left instead of to the right as originally. That's taking care of protection first. That's what I like to look at first. So I go protection, and I go progression. Progression is the grab shallow, so the tight end coming across, 82, to Malone, number 3 on the F short post, to the recovery throw to my back. So as you can see, the grab shallow gets taken away, which is how we drawed up the play. He gets taken away, and then I put it on the short post, and he catches the ball running and turns into a strike up the band type play. But this play originated from, the film room. Hey, we're getting man. Let's try to get some outside leverage man for an inside breaking route. We got it up by motioning Malone into a bunch. We got the leverage we wanted. How I can get better? Hey, let me protect myself first. Get the protection right, and then I'm able to make a easier throw under less duress in this situation. But it worked out for the best here, and we're able to go from there.
Cool. And I'll ask everybody right now if you guys have any questions on that one before we move on to the next. Don't see anything here. All right, cool. I think that's a really good explanation on how you can be prepared.
Oh, I got a Xerox. He said, what is a Xerox? So every offense has a different, like in protection, they have a different way of doing it. So for us, a Xerox was basically like a flipper call. So you flip the protection. So as I originally explained on the protection, the original protection was sliding to the mic. We're taking out 4 down to the mic. And then 2 are coming this way. So if I made a Xerox call, we would have flipped it. So they would take 4 down to the wheel and picked up the safety, and I would have been protected. How did you get the protection wrong? I didn't get the protection wrong. So in that situation, if you go back to the play, although they had the safety walk down to the boundary, if you go back to their general tendencies on 3rd and 10, they weren't a big pressure team. So yes, they were kind of showing tells of pressure, but in that situation, I was saying 3rd and 10, I haven't really gotten pressure all game on 3rd and 10. So I'm thinking, okay, let me stick with the base protection. I kind of know my issues. If I get an issue, I can see it, and I'll just fix it with the throw. So in this situation, I fixed it with the throw. As you go back and you really dissect the tendencies, like, oh, hey, we had a hard will on the ball with the safety in the box. Now I'm able to, hey, let me slide that way, pick it up, and go from there.
And that's something that I think is really cool. And Josh has talked about kind of his process that he goes through at the line of scrimmage. And something that Josh and I have both gotten really, really into lately is chess, because it helps us create processes, and it helps quarterbacks a lot in terms of creating processes so that when they go to the line of scrimmage, they are going through the same steps and same order and same process every single time. It's going to really, really help you be successful, because you don't ever get fooled. It's always a decision. Like, I decided now it won't happen again because he made the decision. All right, I'm not going to Xerox it. I'm going to keep the protection this way. I know I got to get the ball out based on this.
Correct. Let me grab my computer charger real quick for you.
All right, and I'm going to put on the next play, which is going to be, let's go something pretty simple.
I love you, bro. I always forget how much battery Zoom takes up.
Yeah, it'll eat you alive. Mark, what I'd like to go through before play is I want to understand down and distance, time on the clock, what the situation is. What am I going to do pre-snap, and then what is my progression based on the defense? So those are some of the things that I want to get done. Your own process is how you're going to process yourself. Josh, I think it's a good question for you. Like, what are the things that you look at, and like, what's the order for you? When
For
you're
assessing protection and kind of flipping it and everything like that. Is that what you're talking about?
no, just like what is your thought? Like when you go to the line of scrimmage, what's like
Yeah.
your order? What are the things you're looking at from the defense?
So I first start with ID the front. That's crucial because different protection calls are made with different fronts. If they're an odd team or a 4-down front, totally different protection calls. So ID the front, and then check out my DBs like safety orientation, and then from there I go for protection. What are my protection issues? Hey, we're slide strong right in this protection, so I'm hot off 2 to the boundary. Do I have any threat of the wheel walking on the ball? Do I have threat of cat? Am I getting weak side rotation? Or am I getting strong rotation? Or we slide to the boundary right here, am I getting strong rotation? So protection is crucial. The next is progression. So that kind of encompasses everything, as in, is this a progression with an option? Do I like my option? I'm going to take it. No. Yes, I'm going to take it. Take it. Boom. If I'm not going to take it, okay, what's my 1, 2, 3 progression, and where am I working? Or is this like a pick a side based off coverage? Are we in a 2-by-2 formation? Is it 2 high work left, 1 high work right? Okay, they're starting 1 high. Do I think they're going to go to 2 high? So a lot's kind of going on at that second. And then from there, it's kind of like, what's my drop? I think that's crucial because a lot of times, especially in the league, we have concepts where you're taking a 7 on the left and a 5 on the right. So, you have to really think about, hey, am I working the left or right? If they go to 1 high here and kind of switch mid, okay, I got to think I might have to switch my drop. So you just, not that it kind of spooks you, but you just have to be aware of the situation. So I usually go protection, progression, drop, and that kind of, those 3 things, those 3 broad categories encompass everything in my pre-snap process that helped me get ready to execute the play.
Perfect. Got another one drawn up for you. This is a play against UGA. I'll go through it once, and then we'll come back and run it in slow motion.
Good curl flat.
Yeah.
So for us, we call this toad. A lot of teams call this different things. This is a typical 1-by-3. So 1-by-3s are crucial. This is another situational play. It's 3rd down. Georgia was a big man, zone, or fire zone team. So they played a lot of cover 3 throughout the game.
Hold on. Fire zone, for those guys who don't know what that term is, it means they're going to be bringing pressure, dropping a lineman into the zone. So they're going to try and give you the same look. They're going to get to the same spots as like a cover 3, but they're going to be bringing pressure from the other side to make you try and throw hot. All they're trying to do is get you to throw hot so they can tackle in space.
Right, like cover 3, you got 3 deep defenders, 4 underneath defenders, and a fire zone cover 3. They'll rush 5, so you have 3 deep defenders and 3 underneath defenders. So a big way for us to kind of tell what coverage we were going to be getting on situational downs was to go 1-by-3. You have the tight end on one side and you have speed to the field. So a defense has to declare. If they're in man, you're going to get a corners over coverage, and you're going to get a safety or linebacker backside matched up on the tight end. If they're in zone, you'll have the cornerback side on the tight end. So for us, we were reading this man or zone. We had a curl flat concept to the field with a mesh concept coming backside. Sometimes a lot of their fire zones might turn into like a man-ish coverage, but it has the principles of zone. So we said, hey, they don't go corners over, so they leave a cornerback side. We're going to work the curl flat to the field. They go corners over, and they give us a man look. We're going to work the mesh to the 3 receiver with the tight end setting a pick for him coming out the backside to the back. So in this, they didn't go corners over. They left the cornerback side. So we worked the curl flat to the field. So from here, I'm like, okay, it's zone, single high zone. It has no earthly look of the safety going back for a 2-high zone. So, hey, I'm just working off the nickel. Curl flat to the field, it's 3rd and 6. Hopefully I'll try to manipulate the nickel, get the curl in behind him, down to my back.
Got it. Well, let me run through it. So he got that corner who stayed to the boundary. So that allowed him to read this curl flat like he was just saying.
Correct. So you're looking at the nickel. Nickel buzzes it. Boom. I'm like, all right, got the curl.
And when he says nickel buzzes it, guys, I'm going to try and break it down and make sure they're all on the same page.
Okay.
This would be the nickel who's going to be inside of this corner. Nickel's just set fifth defensive back. When he said he buzzes it, that means he took away the curl.
Right. No, you took away the flat. The nickel buzzed the flat.
Sorry, took away the flat so he could throw the curl.
You opened up the window to the curl. So nickel buzz, boom, I got the one-on-one curl shot. Yeah. Looking at this stuff like, wow, that looks like man. And it does look like man. They might have been playing man. A big thing with teams like this who play a lot of cover three, they have different variations of cover three. So they'll have a cover three where they zone everything, so they'll buzz it. They won't follow everything. And then they have a cover three that's called carry, so where the nickel's carrying two vertical. So a lot of times, it really just turns into man. And in man coverage, hey, there's one-on-one matchups. Everyone has to win. So in this pre-snap, they gave me a cover three look, so I'm working the curl flat to the back, and we're able to bang it on the curl for a first down.
Cool. Sorry, I got a little interference. I got Quest.
You good, Quest. Quest one third time.
Yeah, Quest.
Star Avery anyway, so
that's right here. It looks like we had a couple questions. Let me try and pull those up. Let me. Dang it. I'm still all right. Cool. Let me do it. He was going to be sliding that to the boundary. I know that because of the numbers. I'm going to just explain why you're sliding to the boundary real quick.
Yep.
You guys can't see the questions in the middle screen, can you? Josh, you can just see the play. Those questions aren't in your way.
I can see the Q&A. I just have to click on it.
Okay, but you're good. Okay, he's going to be talking about the slider protection. So just explain why you turned this protection to the left. Looks like a six-man slide to the left, right?
Yeah, we have the tight end nub. Everyone does it differently. This is a 4 down. We're probably Alvin's on the right. We were sliding away from the back in college. So, yeah, we're sliding to the left. And this, by tendencies, they were a boundary pressure team or pressure to the tight end team. So we're sliding that way to pick it up. 4 down, slide left. Alvin has the mic in this picture to the nickel to scan to any DB.
And I'll answer this. Fire zone, again, is when they're bringing pressure, like they could be bringing linebacker safety, 2 linebackers, and they're going to drop a lineman so we can still get a coverage one short of the underneath defenders. So let's say they were going like a cover 3 fire zone. That means they're going to be bringing 5, dropping 3 in underneath coverage. So they're going to be taking away like hook curl, middle zone, and then you still have 3 deep defenders.
Right.
So that's what fire zone.
The way to understand fire zone is they're bringing 5 somehow, and they're dropping 6. Most coverages you're bringing 4 and dropping 7. In a fire zone, you're bringing 5, you're bringing 1 extra, trying to make them hot, then you're dropping a guy. You're really bringing 2, dropping a guy, so you're bringing 5, then you have 6 in the coverage. You can play any variation of coverage behind it.
Cool. And then, all right. I will go to, let me close this out. So I'm trying to close this Q&A. Yeah, if we don't get to your question, just make sure you guys ask at the end. Let's go to the Florida play. I'm gonna go. When I saw this, I thought it was, what did I think this was?
What do you think it was?
I thought it was like a 3, shoot. I'm trying to.
A 3 verts-isk?
I thought it was something 3 verts. I was actually watching the Ravens. They ran a lot of 3 verts this year, and I thought that was.
They run that over. They get that tight end over there a lot.
Yeah, and after you explain this one to me, I'm starting to think that that's what the Ravens are doing. So let's.
It's probably similar.
Yeah, it's really similar.
So we call
I'll go through it again full speed. You want me to go through full speed? Let's look.
Yeah, just play it, and then I'll go through it.
I think we have an end zone copy, too. It's a hell of a ball.
Yeah, that was a good throw.
With the pressure in your face.
They got smacked.
That's a good example of a no-foot throw. And when I say no-foot throw, he doesn't get to stride into his throw. He's got pressure. Really quick foot strike. That's a drill that we work on. The half circle drill that we were working on. And I showed you guys a drill of that. That's literally all he's doing right here in this one. If you guys got questions, I'll throw that back up. But perfect. Let's talk about what we're doing here.
So this was a base. This originated from a base play for us. Florida, they jumped into some quarters, looked in the red zone. We're in a 2 tight end set, so we're 12 personnel here. But for us, this was a progression with an option. So it could come play action or it can become off a drop back. Backside, you had a hitch with conversion. Well, let me see. Was he locked or do you have conversion rules? Yeah, he had conversion rules backside. So most hitches.
Backside is this guy right here for you guys. That's just the X.
Yes.
He's going to hitch if he has free access like we talked about earlier.
Right. If he doesn't, if he's pressed or we have cloud coverage, so cover 2 look, he's going to run go. Front side, the tight end, we called it a middle read. So we're single high coverages. If he was carried, he could flatten it off and run it over. They went too high, and the middle split. He could run the green grass and take it up the middle. Number 2 in the slot, Jason Kroom, he had an inside fade. We called it an up route in college. But everyone has this in their offense. He's running from the number 2 position, but he's getting to the outside landmark of a go ball. So he's getting bottom of the number, stacking that defender. And then number 1, we called it a delayed – what do we call it? A delayed hitch maybe? He's running a hitch. If he doesn't get it, then he's running an under, delayed under. He's running a hitch. Right. He comes around, doesn't have – the ball's not coming to him, then he's coming on the under. So it kind of gives the number 2 a second to clear out that nickel defender, and he's able to replace him underneath. So for me – go ahead.
No, I was just saying, how you reading it?
So we're reading it, the tight end 1. This is really, it can be read a lot of ways. So simply you're reading it tight end 1 to the delayed under 2 to the back. If you have the option of throwing the hitch, you can take it. If you like your matchup in the slot at number 2, if you have man-to-man matchup on one-on-one, then you can take the up. If not, you're
simply taking this. If you get double press here, like you really like your matchup on double press, then he's going to take the inside fade because it ends up being a track race between this guy and that guy to throw the inside fade. So that's understanding matchups. And if you get free access like we've been talking about here, this guy's off, and it's not like third down, and you don't have to have a first down. You just take it completely. And this is middle of the field open, middle of the field close rules for this guy. We talked about that because we don't always know what defense they're in. You just know if there's a safety in the middle of the field or if there's not. Middle field open, middle field close.
So here
this is like a key read progression.
Yeah.
I would call it.
Yeah. You got 2 options. If not, you're going 1 to 2 to 3 and move on with the game.
Yep.
They were into like a weird 2 invert. I think it's because we were in the red zone and we went 12 personnel. Because we were a big outside zone team out of this set. So we're able to get the tight end one-on-one with the mic. And a big throw that as you progress, you'll start to see. When this Mike backer has his back turned to you, he'll never make that play, ever.
He's a monument defender. That means he's there, but he can't make a play on the ball.
Like I've seen some where you throw it at the back of his head, and the ball might have hit him in the head, and the guy catches it because his back turned to you. They can't see. If he can't see it, he can't make a play on it. So
and when he said,
you got to get it out while he's looking at the receiver and not looking at the quarterback.
And when he said invert cover 2, they're really doing that to the field here. So this quarterback here is going to take the half. He's going to be the halves player. This guy's going to end up coming down and being that flat player. Mike is going to be carrying number 3 vertically. And on this side, they end up just locking it. So he's just going to go lock here. We got back. So they have 4 to the strong side. So we just locked that with the backside cornerback.
Chase, you hit that on the head. Not even there. He's not even there.
Is that CG?
Yeah, CG hopping in.
Oh, yeah.
A little Dana Bible wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so that was a really good play. But, I mean, the key is identifying matchup. By going 12 personnel, we knew we could keep them out man coverage. They're a big nickel team, so they're not going to play a nickel on a tight end man-to-man. So we knew we were getting zone, and we were able to take advantage of the middle field open coverage.
Let me try and run through these questions real quick. I'm going to get rid of that one.
What do you call this concept? We named it hungry, but I guess, it can kind of call it kind of whatever you want. It's, I guess, a deep cross S concept. A lot of people run a go, a cross, and they run some type of in breaker, and then they can run number 2 on a flat or a drag, whatever they want. There's different ways you can get to it. This is how we got to it because we run a lot with play action where you get some play action, get some good sell on the linebackers, pull them up, and then able to throw the over right behind them. So that's how we ran it. And then you always have your one-on-one options in the slot or backside with your X.
Cloud coverage just means press, so they're just taking away free access. The term I use for that is monument defender, not even there, a couple different ways. All right, let's go to this next throw is my favorite throw that you've probably had in your career. It's because of the situation that it's in. You can explain it better than me. I think that it would be better if you explain it.
Okay.
Where is it at? Okay. Cool. I'll get back to these in a second. Quest is trying to break out. Sounds like she broke out. All right. Well, you guys can see the situation right here, but explain to them what happened, why we're in all those things, because that'll make more sense to them why I love this play so much.
So it's first down, fourth quarter, Ben's in. This is the play before this. Mm-hmm. As you can see, it's a one-possession game. We're at the Ravens. We got to win. We lost to the Ravens at home like 4 weeks before this. They go like 2-man with a spy, kind of locked down everything. They caught us in a passing down. It was 1st and 20. Ben goes to scramble. The 3 technique catches him, and Ben's injured. So he's out. At this point, you think he's like out. Like we don't know.
I think he's dead.
Yeah, don't know when he's coming back. So going into the situation, you're rolling up on the sideline. It's the fourth quarter, as you can see. You've been standing on the sideline all game. And comes over, 2nd and 20. Coach T comes over and says, what do you want to call? Like, Dobbs, what do you want? Said, yo, open playbook, whatever. Coach Randy's going through a couple of our top plays I practice, stuff like that. I mean, the playbook was open, but he's going through some of the plays that I like. Coach T says, yo, throw the deep cross. They haven't covered that all game. Randy looks at me and says, is that what you want? I say, yo, you're the coach. You call the plays. I'm down for it. I said, bet. We'll go with that. So call the deep over. Luckily, we kind of put ourselves in a good position. You're thinking, okay, new QB's in the game. We're just going to run maybe like power. It's 2nd and 20, run a counter. 3rd and manageable, hand the ball off again, punt it, and hope the defense stops them, right? We say, nah, we're not doing that. So we run post, deep over, post by number 1, so James Washington on the backside. We motion the tight end. This was a big 3-by-1 concept for us, where we were kind of run it from the back, kind of backdoor it. So to be able to get to it out of a 2-by-2 set, disguise it, we motion the tight end to it. So you have James Washington on the post, Juju's coming on the deep over, then AB has to spray big in, and then your back's on a check leak. So he's kind of leaking into the flat to the left, to the bottom of the screen. So this is, I guess, it's like America's route, America's concept. It's a big concept. A lot of people run it. And it really gets good sell off the run game. We ran a lot of double. So run concept.
Stop and talk about this drawing that I just illustrated that fast. That just happened.
That's so accurate. I think they ran those lines. Literally. We got to keep the post up the numbers, but outside of that, we good.
Yeah.
That looked good. So you play it. So play it first, and I'll explain why I threw it.
Yeah, because I'll say this to anybody, to somebody at a different level of quarterback, this guy's not open. Because let's look at just take a peek at him, because he's not open to a lot of us. And then we'll run him back, and you'll see it again. So that guy was maybe 2 yards away from him the whole time. So I'll go through it slow. I'll go through it slow here, and then you can kind of talk through what you saw from your perspective.
Oh, yeah, Drew, get there, get there. Oh, yeah, there's the window. Bang. Slow him down.
All right, let's talk about it.
That's
What are we
slow.
seeing here?
So this was actually something I learned, like getting multiple repetitions on scout team. It's similar to the throw we saw in Florida. If he's not looking at you, he can't make a play on the ball. So Weddle's a very smart guy. We all know that. You know, he played a long time in the league. He played situations extremely well. He obviously knew, hey, we're a tight end side run team. We motion tight end to that side. New QB in the game, we're probably running the football. So he kind of got caught. So as I go back, I'm staring down the post, and I almost let the post rip. Post is up the numbers. James eats up that cushion really well. I can give him a good ball right up the numbers, and he can go make a play on it. But just given the situation, 2nd and 20, I thought, okay, let's not take the post. So I go get off the post. I come to a deep cross. Right here, I'm making the decision. If you pause it literally, right when you pass, right there. Go back one more step. Right there, I'm making a decision to throw the ball. As I'm looking at Weddle, and this picture, like, I'm throwing it right now, and he's not looking at me. I'm getting Juju's eye, so he's able to adjust to the ball so I can make that throw. I got a window. Weddle's not looking, so I took it, and I was able to slow him down in the window before he got to the safety. So we ended up getting, 23 yards on this play, first down. And then was able to keep the chains moving, the game moving. So you saw this is how crucial situations are. We're up 7 at this point. We convert this first down.
That's Ben, the play before when he got.
Yeah. Yeah. So we go down. We get a field goal out of this drive. We go up 10, and we end up winning the game because it was a 2-possession game, and they only had one more possession throughout the rest of the game.
Did Ben come back in after this play?
Yeah, he came back the next play, and I thought I saw a ghost. I was like, how? How is he back? Impressive. He's a tough guy. I'll give that to him. He is a very tough guy. But, yeah, he came back after this play. As you can see, right when he passed the mic, I said, okay, I'm throwing this.
Hey, look, if you guys can see Josh's hip, you see how he actively loads his hip like we were talking about in the throw drill last week? It's really, really cool to see these guys put those things together and do it in the game. Perfect. That's I think that's a really good idea and how you guys can understand, like, he might not necessarily seem open to you guys at this point in stage of your career, but you guys can start seeing things and understand what they're doing so that you guys can make decisions a little bit quicker. All it's about is how quickly you can process information so that you guys can make decisions.
I think, like, a big thing, like, I know when I'm explaining things, it can kind of get long-winded. And it kind of seemed like, yo, you're thinking about all of that at one point, during, like, the 20 seconds pre-snap and the 3 seconds you have to make a decision where to throw. But it comes from repetition. Like, during a play or during pre-snap, like, everything that I say, like, the process is so implemented in my brain, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, I literally look out and I already identify the issues subconsciously. I know what's going on. I know what they're playing. And it's just like, boom, read and react. So after you get the repetition, you're able to play quickly and not overwhelm your mind because it's read and react. So the key is, at these points in practice or when you're doing drill, we're able to simulate those game like reps. So you're not overbogging your mind on Sundays, Saturdays, Fridays, Thursdays, whenever you're playing. You're able to just go out, read and react, play football, execute, play at a high level.
Perfect.
Find the completion, move on with the game.
All right, this will be our last one. This isn't Josh playing, but this is the Titans. And we're just going to be talking about protection. They might be bringing a zone blitz here. I'm not sure. I don't really remember.
So pause it.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to see from this angle, or what do you want to see?
You're good. Like, the Ravens are so interesting. They bring so many exotic pressures. So this is a classic 5-down front. You got 5 down. A lot of people call it bear. There's a lot of different names for it, but it's 5 down. So most teams, they'll protect it. They'll force a 5-down call. So the line is taking the defensive end standing up, the farthest guy outside to the top of the screen, and then the 3 people with their hands in the ground, and then the defensive end on this bottom. The back, he's responsible.
They're not going to protect this guy.
They're not going to protect this guy. They're going to take the 5 down. The back is responsible for anyone else that comes. First backer that comes, because there's usually one backer in the box and a 5-down front, sometimes 5 too. Usually one backer on the box, as you can see, he's choked on the tight end. To any DB that comes, the back is responsible for.
You guys just call it 5-0, right? You just get that
Call it
5-0?
5-0, yeah.
So when you guys are hearing that on TV, like sometimes you can hear that in the NFL game. It's like they're just making the 5-0 call. He's just letting the people know who they're responsible for in the protection.
Correct. So, most teams in this front, like front dictates coverage a lot of times. Most teams in this front are playing like man. So, if I get a 5-0 call, I probably got man behind it. They ended up getting to man, per se. They probably would call this like a fire zone-esque coverage. It got to a man-looking coverage, but they're probably playing fire zone. Like now the Ravens –
his nickel's going to match. This is more intricate coverage than you guys will get, but this nickel would match on their fire zone. He's playing the whole – but it's fire zone.
Right, it's fire zone, but they're playing match tendency, so it turns into man. Now, the Ravens are interesting because they'll play this exact same look and then bring the nickel, the safety. Like if you go to the top, they'll bring the nickel, the safety will spin down. I don't know who will cover 3, but backside will relate to 3. They'll get to something weird and exotic. So another
side backer over to the middle to get to 3, just
correct.
To relate.
He'll relate to 3. He'll take a gut call, relate to 3. So you can get to it different ways. It's very interesting. So some teams protect it differently. Like some teams might make like a fan call. So they'll basically, the center's locked up on the nose guard, and now the guard's fanning for his B gap. Both guards are fanning for their B gap, and both ends are fanning for the first threat outside. So whether they bring the 5 down or they're able to turn into some weird exotic 5-man pressure where they're still bringing 2 from a side and the nose guard, they're able to fan and pick up all 5 guys and still not be locked into, hey, we got these 5 down. If it happens, you're hot. It's kind of – it all depends on how you're aligned, the seniority, how long they've been playing together. But that starts getting really intricate and complicated, and it depends on how good your line is at that point.
We'll watch it one time from the backside so you guys can just see it. So you were saying before, is they're going to be protecting – so that guy came in with him, so we just 5-0'd it. Center be responsible for nose, guard for 3 technique, tackle for and guard for 3, tackle for whatever you want to call this technique. 7. But when they motion in, that's just the even though he comes in with them,
so when he comes in, so the motion, he knows when that guy comes in with them, they know that that's man to man. O-lines are very smart in the NFL. Like they can identify man-to-man coverage and see that kind of things. So they're able to, the right tackle knows, I'm fanning for the end. I'm not fanning for the guy that just came in with the tight end man-to-man. I'm fanning for the end. I'm going to take him. So those guys are pretty intelligent, are able to pick up and to decipher really coverage at that point to be able to protect the quarterback and keep a clean pocket.
Cool. I'll cut that off. Open it up to a couple questions. Won't be here all night, but we'll get hold on, let me damn, I don't know how to do this. Oh, I got it. Josh, I'm gonna put you on real quick, ask your question. Let's rock out. Josh, you there?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so my question is, whenever you guys were talking about film earlier and you guys were talking about NFL schedule and how you guys chopped up the days with film,
yeah.
Whenever you're looking at playing specific teams, you know that they got some of their bigger guys on defense, some of their better players on defense. Do y'all sort of focus on them and get tendencies, or is it all down situations and coverage?
That's built into it, kind of. As you comb through the film, you get a feel for the team. Like tendencies kind of reveal themselves, and you'll put those in your general notes. Like, for instance, we knew a team like while I was in Pittsburgh. We said, hey, if the nickel's on the line, it's man. If the nickel's off, it's zone. Tendencies will come out as you're watching film, as you're combing through, and you'll make notes of it, and you'll be able to add that into their coverage ideas. Like, hey, when they play cover 3, this guy doesn't buzz the flat well. So if I have this guy and I have a flat over there and it's single high coverage, I know I have the flat. So that stuff works in. Or hey, he's a press corner. He's an off corner. He's sitting at the sticks on 3rd and 10. He's bailing at the sticks on 3rd and 10. So all those things are noted as you're watching all the film. So you're then, once you get to the field or you get in the situation, you're able to build layers upon, they're playing cover 3. Yeah, they're playing cover 3 and this. Playing cover 3 and I can get in a tight formation and pump that corner and get a shot down the sideline. And now we're really talking. So, there's levels to it, and they kind of grow as you're able to watch more film and get a feel for the guys and the scheme and see how they play together.
Jason, we're gonna throw you on here.
What's up, Coach?
What's going on?
Coolin'. What's up, Josh?
What's up, buddy?
Coolin', brother. Hey, I got two part question. The first one was on your schedule for the week. What did you say Monday was for?
Monday's for you recap, the game the night before the game, the day before.
Okay.
You don't really dive into film because it's the day after the game. You're still decompressing. But you might throw on a game, or if they're playing Monday night, you might throw on the live TV game. But you just get a general feel. Like, you look up, hey, here, this is their defensive coordinator. This is their scheme. It's just a general overview of the team you're playing next. And you're kind of adding, hey, how can we improve from the last game? Okay, how can we attack and get some general early week ideas to how to attack the next team?
Okay. And then the second part was on your schedule pre-snap. You say first is protection, second is progression, and third is what?
Like your drop. I mean, they kind of play 2 and 1, but your drop. Like, if it's quick game, I'm taking a punch rocker. But if I'm throwing a fade, I might take a slide step. If it's drop back, if it's cover 2, so I just looked at their coverage, right? If it's cover 2, I'm working left, I got to take a 7-step drop. But if it's single high, I got to work right. I got to take a 5 and anchor if I'm throwing the locked hitch. If I'm not, I got to take a 5 and hitch to progress to the option route. So you're kind of thinking of your drop like, hey, what drop am I going to take to manipulate the defense? I just decipher what coverages I think they could play out the look I'm getting.
Appreciate it, Josh.
Yep.
Okay. Let's go. We got 3 more questions that we're answering. So Landon and Michael Hardyway were the last ones we'll get to. TJ, what's going on? TJ's off. All right.
Okay.
Landon, I think this one. Landon, what up?
Landon, you got unmute.
Did I mute him? Landon, what up?
He's muted.
All right. Hey, I gave it a good college try. All right. Michael, we're coming to you. I'm not muted.
What's up, Coach? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a question for Josh. I was wondering, how would your schedule change on a more condensed week, whereas, say, you would play on a Sunday night or a Monday night, and then you have to hurry and change and you play on a Thursday night game?
Yeah, those are quick / long weeks. Put on Sunday, then you got to put on Thursday. It modifies your schedule a lot. So basically everything really gets shortened down. Like, you play on Sunday, Monday you got to put in extra work. So Monday you're watching the last game while also jumping into watching like your Tuesday schedule. So you're watching several games of your next opponent that you're playing on Thursday. Tuesday you're watching third down and red zone tape. So Tuesday you're kind of hitting the 3-bagger. You're watching first and second down cut-ups, third down, red zone tape. And it'll be incorporated into practice. On Wednesday, you've watched a lot of film, and you're trying not to mentally overload yourself. Like, Thursday night games are kind of like, hey, teams are running fundamental stuff because they haven't been able to game plan all week. So you're trying to execute your fundamental stuff against their base coverages that you're expecting. So you're trying not to overload yourself, but Wednesday you're still trying to just get all the situational plays that you can get in. And then Thursday, you just go play ball. So it's the same schedule, but you kind of each day on a short week kind of takes place of 2 days on a real week, and it kind of condenses itself down. But on those games, I mean, you got to think both teams are at a disadvantage. Both teams have the same amount of time, or the lack of time per se, to prepare for their opponent. So both teams are going to run their fundamental stuff. Because at the end of the day, the defense doesn't want to get burned on 4 verts all night on a Thursday night game just because they weren't able to scheme up for to stop mesh, right? So they're going to run their fundamental stuff they've been running since training camp. So you kind of watch that, try to get those tendencies and just decipher players and then try to play quickly from there.
Cool. I'll get one more. We only have two more. Jaden Davis. Jaden, what up?
You hear me?
Yeah. What's up, Jaden?
What's up, Josh? So my question is, what was like the biggest or like hardest adjustment coming from college to the league?
A lot of people think it's the speed. It's not really the speed. It's the intelligence of every single player. In college, you could take a free access hitch like 4 straight times before the DB scoots up to take it away. But in the NFL, you take it once, maybe, and the next time he's on the receiver's back, like about to make a play on the football, nerve-wracking as you throw it. Guys are so intelligent that they're able to read splits, QB drops, receiver tendencies, receivers' depths on routes, and they're able to quickly adjust and concept read and pattern read. That as a QB, you have to recognize that and understand, hey, what DB am I playing against? What type of coverage does he play? What is he good at? So like the mental side of the game is elevated in guys' football intelligence just because they played so many more snaps and seen so many more situations than guys at the college level. They're able to be a step of the game. So that's the biggest jump. So once you recognize that and you're able to have a plan of attack, then you have to go out and play. But it's just understanding that and being able to quickly play mentally quick, not physically quick, but mentally make decisions at a fast rate. That's the biggest difference between college and professional.
All right. Appreciate it.
No problem.
I'm going to ask you one that I see that's a good one. What's something you wish you would have known or done when you're in high school that you didn't do? I will say this about Josh is that even in high school, he worked his ass off. Like he worked as hard as I think one could work in high school. But what is something you'd have done a little bit different?
I don't think I would have changed anything.
Yeah,
I
can't
say that.
imagine.
I say that, and yes, of course, as you look back, would I wish I'd known at that point the difference between Tampa 2 and cover 2 sink and regular cover 2? Yeah. Well, I wish I would have known the difference between cover 3, where they're buzzing, and cover 3 were playing match. Yeah, of course, I would wish I would have learned that. But I think as I look back on the situation, I look back on my journey, like every single part of my journey, I just give max effort. I focus on the journey rather than the end process. And at the end, I hope it all takes care of itself. That's my plan. So as you go across the journey, as a high school player, you're not going to know of every coverage. And that's fine. You're in high school. As a college player, you're not going to know every single blitz, coverage, protection, beater, whatever at the college level. And that comes with time, repetition, football knowledge, getting around the right people, the right coaches, the right situations. So, yes, of course, like football knowledge-wise, I wish I had my professional brain now in high school. Like I would have thrown for 6,000 yards instead of 4,000 yards. Of course, I wish that. But, would I change the process? Would I change my attack? Would I change how hard I work, how I worked, what I did? No, because I feel like at the time I maximized it. I worked my butt off, as Q said, but also I enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed the journey, and every experience that I had then and throughout college has helped me get to where I am today and will continue to move my career. So I wouldn't change anything, but I'm thankful for the process for sure.
Cool. Alex, I'll jump in on that one. Schedule look like a high schooler during this quarantine time. You got anything on that? How many hours would you be devoting to whatever you're devoting to?
As a high schooler, let's see, I still played football and baseball.
No, I'm talking about if you were in quarantine right now.
If I was in quarantine right now, high school football player, am I getting ready for college or am I getting ready for my high school season?
You're getting ready for your senior season in high school.
Ooh. Yo, like if my receivers lived in the same neighborhood with me, we're throwing. Like, I don't know what the school schedule is. I'm out of tune. I don't know, but I'm going to school and I'm not playing Call of Duty like after school. I know a lot of people be on the war zone. Like, I am going to throw with my receivers, maybe text my coach. Like, I'm going to throw. I'm going to get some work in somewhere. Like, we're throwing. We're getting this work in. Like, that's the big thing. Like, for me, it's been cool. Like, I mean, right now everyone's playing video games. We don't even turn the TV on until like 6 o'clock here. You know, we're like, we have a plan throughout the day. We got to get all this done, and then we can cook dinner, and then we can play video games. But until the work's done, you know, we're grinding. So as a high schooler, I would take this time to figure out, what's my plan in college and when I become a professional. This is a time you can kind of set that foundation, like what it looks like, because outside of school, you don't have anything else to do. Go get your grind on. Get better.
There's a bunch of information on the internet. You guys can watch a bunch of film.
Yep.
NFL's getting free access to all 22 right now. You guys can look at stuff, understand the game better, and do your work. Josh, I appreciate you hopping on with us.
Always.
I'm sure everybody appreciated you spending some time with them so we can understand the game a little bit better.
Yep. That's the plan. Let's be great.
All right, bro. Appreciate Zervita for helping us put this together. Thanks, everybody.
Always. See you, my guy.
Peace.